Hello BookTube, welcome to Lizzie Faye Loves Books. I'm Elizabeth, and I am dividing my summer book hauls into several segments because I acquired a lot of books over the summer, and I took a break from my channel, and I was not doing regular book hauls. So here it is, the end of the summer, beginning of fall, and I have a lot of books. So I'm dividing them into 8 different segments, and for this segment, I'm going to be showing you the Christian fiction that I got over the summer. Now, most all of this I got completely free. You may have heard me saying on another video that I got a call at the beginning of the summer from a friend of mine who has a resale shop, and one of the storage facilities where she keeps some of her extra inventory had an auction, and this one particular unit did not get cleaned out. The person who bought the unit left a lot of stuff, and it just so happened that a lot of the stuff they left were bins full of books. And she said, I think he'll give them to you for like $10 if you want to just come and, haul them off. I'm trying to help him get that unit cleared because he's already got it re-rented and needs to get it cleared out and all that. So I went down there. Well, there was more than 5 or 6 bins like she first thought. It turned out to be about 30 bins, and it took me 3 carloads to get them all home, and he did not charge me a penny. So most of the books were Christian based. There were a lot, well, I say most, I'd say at least half, over half, were Christian nonfiction, a lot of beautiful Christian fiction books, of which I have kept quite a few. And then there were a lot of mysteries, a lot of mainstream mysteries, certain authors. I'm not really sure. It was strange because whoever had owned the unit had a lot of books, and it almost looked like they used to have a bookstore or something, or some sort of a shop, because of some books there were multiple copies. And one of the authors that there were a lot of books by was Eugenia Price. So I am going to put her books all in a separate haul. If you're interested in Eugenia Price, or maybe you don't know much about her and you are interested in finding out, she's an author that my mother read a lot of. She wrote a lot of fiction books that I don't think were necessarily Christian, but they were clean, historical fiction about the South, Georgia, Florida, different places in the South that were the settings for her books. And then she wrote a lot of Christian nonfiction. So I will show you some of those that we are going to be putting on eBay. But I'm going to do that in a separate video. So for this video, I'm going to show you the Christian fiction that I decided to keep of what we got free. And there are a small handful that I got other places that I may have paid a little bit for, but the majority of it are books that I got free. So I'll start with those. Now, the Lori Wick English Garden series, I think I read the first one of these on audio several years ago, and I owned a copy of the second one, but all 3 of them were in this bunch of books. So I kept the whole series, and now I have an extra copy of the second one that I'll pass on to someone else. But the first book is The Proposal. I really enjoyed that. And the second book is, yes, this is the second book, The Rescue. I have not read it before, although I had a copy. And the third book is The Visitor. And as I recall, it was something about these kids wanted their dad to get married, and they're playing matchmaker. So it's been a while since I've read it. I may have to reread it, but I remember really enjoying it a lot. Okay, now I got 3 books by Michael Phillips, and just the other day I had a conversation with one of my subscribers, and now all of a sudden I can't remember who it was, but they were talking about the Shenandoah Sisters series. Well, I had been reading the Shenandoah album series by Emily Richards, and I thought that's what they were talking about, but they were talking about this series by Michael Phillips. The first one is called Angels Watching Over Me, and the second one is A Day to Pick Your Own Cotton. And there may be more in the series, but this is the first 2 books. So when I finally realized that she was talking about this series, I was like, oh, I have those too, but I haven't read them yet. And then another book by Michael Phillips is A Perilous Proposal, and this, I believe, is book 1 in the Carolina Cousins series. Now, I had to look through several videos this morning to learn how to pronounce this last name, and it was nothing like any guess I've ever made on how to pronounce this name. It is by Bodie and Brock Taney, and this is Shiloh Autumn. Now, I remember first seeing these authors when I very first started being the book sales chairman at our library, and we had 2 or 3 of their books that either had been donated or withdrawn from the library that were on our sale shelves, and I just noticed them. I was thinking then, how do you pronounce that name? And I never had a chance or took the time to look it up until this morning. And there were several of their books in all of the free stuff. This is the only one I kept because I am in love with this cover. This cover grabbed me and wouldn't let me go, and I had to keep it. I don't know anything about it. It's called Shiloh Autumn, and I think it's historical, but I don't know anything about it. So I'm excited to have it. And then another author I've heard of, and I think I may have read one of her books, maybe on audio a long time ago, is Wanda Brunstetter, and this is The Storekeeper's Daughter. It is from the Daughters of Lancaster County series. She writes a lot of Amish books, and so I hope this is going to be good. Then I heard somebody talking about Francine Rivers, or maybe it was Melanie from Christian YA Books and More. She asked me a while back if I had ever read any Francine Rivers, and I had not. I didn't have any, never read any, never seen any, but there were 4 pretty large chunkers by her in the big windfall of books that I got free, so I kept them. I got A Voice in the Wind, Leota's Garden, Redeeming Love, and Redeeming Love. I guess I have the same one twice. I did not even realize that. Wow. Okay, well, so I have 2 copies of the same book in different editions. I'll have to figure out which one I'm keeping, and if you are interested in having one of these, let me know. I might be persuaded to send it to you. Otherwise, I will put it in our little free library or pass it on to someone from church. Now, speaking of the Taneys, the lady I drive for, she gave me a little bundle of books the other day, and this was in the stuff she gave me, Winds of Promise by Bodie and Brock Taney, and then a couple of other little devotional books and whatnot in there. Okay, and this is one I purchased. I was so happy to find this. I can't even remember now where I found it. This is book 3 in the Heavenly Days series by Lori Copeland and Angela Hunt. I had books 1, 2, 4, and 5, and I needed this one to complete the series. It's called A Warmth in Winter, and I hope to read that series next year. I had wanted to start it this year, and I just didn't. It didn't happen. But I'm looking forward to reading it. I found a Jeanette Oak book that I did not have, and I haven't read. It's one of her standalone books, A Gown of Spanish Lace. And somewhere I got this. I picked it up because it's Oklahoma. It's called Oklahoma Reunion by Tina Radcliffe. It's from the Love Inspired books, which are they put out by Harlequin? I'm not sure who publishes these. If it's a, yes, they are. They're published by Harlequin, but they are Christian romances. And I found 2 books in the Tales from Grace Chapel Inn series that I did not have. Prayers, Pause, and Providence by Diane Hunt. And The Price of Fame by Carolyn Arson. I have quite a few from that series, and I have not started reading them yet. And then here is I think a book of, I thought it was short stories, but it's not. It's a novel. The Christmas Quilt by Thomas J. Davis. I don't know anything about it. I will eventually pass this on to my sister. Anything quilt related, I mainly get it with her in mind, and some of them I read before I pass on to her. And then a few authors that I already have some books by, but I did not have these. A Grace Livingston Hill book I didn't have called Found Treasure. I love Grace Livingston Hill. And then a book by T. Davis Bunn. These are, I got these 2 little books. Both of these are by T. Davis Bunn. And I have read almost everything he has written with Jeanette Oak. And I want to read all of his other work as well. He's got some of these little tiny short story novella books. I've already read The Quilt. And this one is called The Gift. And this one is called The Music Box. The Music Box. So I think that's everything. Yes, that is all of the Christian fiction that I have for this particular haul. I'm sure I will continue to accumulate more, and I will show it in future hauls. Meanwhile, though, for my summer book hauls, I will also have a haul of Christian nonfiction, and then I'm going to have a haul of all Eugenia Price. I ended up keeping one of each of her fiction books. I already had a couple on my shelf. My mother used to read Eugenia Price, and I think I've tried one of her books quite a long time ago, and I didn't go ahead and read any more from there. But I'm interested in getting back into her work. And then some of her more classic nonfiction books, we had some really neat copies of some of those that we're going to put on eBay. But I'll show them to you in the video, and if you're interested in any of them, then I'll let you know how you can access our eBay store. So that'll be in an upcoming video, probably next week sometime. I will get those done. I wanted to try to get at least a few of these videos done this weekend, and then next weekend I will shoot for getting the rest of them done. So stay tuned for that. And if you have not seen my Cozy Mystery haul or my Women's Fiction haul, please check those out. I've also got one where I combine a few fantasy, horror. The horror was written by my friend, and YA, fantasy and contemporary, all in just kind of a hodgepodge in one other video. So if you haven't seen those and you're interested in that, then check those out. So if you're new to my channel, I hope you will subscribe. I am a Christian, and I read a lot of different genres, and I have not read very much Christian fiction in the last couple of years, and I really do want to get back into it. I love to read Grace Livingston Hill, Jeanette Oke, I mentioned T. Davis Bunn, and I've recently gotten more into Lori Copeland. There's several other Christian authors that I really enjoy, and so many more that I have not even tried yet that I would like to read. So if you have any recommendations you'd like to give me for Christian fiction, that'd be awesome. And that's all I have for this video. I hope you're having a great day. Read a good book, and God bless you.